Picture this: a Tuesday morning. The air was thick with the smell of burnt coffee and desperation. Our team, the Synergy Squad, was facing the launch of Project Chimichanga. But everything that could go wrong did. The presentation slides looked like a toddler's art project after a sugar rush. Our lead coder had replaced the client database with his grandma's muffin recipes. The mood was lower than a limbo stick at a snail convention. Then, something shifted. Maybe it was the absurdity of the muffin situation. That tiny spark, that shift from we're doomed to, well, this is hilariously awful, what can we do, was our first step towards something bigger. This is where the story of psychological capital, or PsyCap, begins in the trenches of everyday work chaos. So, what is this magical PsyCap I speak of? Is it a new cryptocurrency? A fancy brand of ergonomic chair? Nope, it's something far more powerful and, thankfully, much cheaper. Psychological capital is essentially your individual and your team's positive psychological state of development. Think of it as the inner resources you draw upon to thrive, especially when the going gets tough or when the database gets filled with muffins. PsyCap is built on 4 key pillars, which conveniently form the acronym HERO, because who doesn't want to be a hero at work? These are hope, efficacy, self-efficacy to be precise, resilience, and optimism. Each of these components is like a special power. Hope is your forward-looking, goal-oriented superpower. Efficacy is your "I can do this" belief. Resilience is your ability to bounce back from adversity, like a superhero landing gracefully after being thrown through a building. And optimism is your knack for seeing the bright side, even when the only light is from a flickering fluorescent bulb above your cubicle.
Let's dive into the first pillar of our hero, hope. Now, this isn't just wishful thinking, like hoping a unicorn will deliver your morning latte. In the PsyCap world, hope is a cognitive state. It's about having the willpower, the motivation and determination, and the way power, the perceived ability to generate routes and plans to achieve your goals. It's the little engine that could, chugging along saying, I think I can, and here's how I'm gonna do it. Hope is the belief that the future will be better than the present, and crucially, that you have a role to play in making it so. In a team setting, collective hope is incredibly powerful. When a team believes it can overcome obstacles and achieve its objectives, it's more likely to put in the discretionary effort needed. Think about a sports team down by several points in the final minutes. If they've lost hope, they'll play passively, just waiting for the clock to run out. But if they have hope, if they believe they can still win and have a strategy, way power, to do it, they'll fight for every point. Without hope, motivation plummets faster than my enthusiasm for early morning meetings. Team members might disengage, feeling like their efforts don't matter or that the goals are unattainable.
Next up in our hero toolkit is efficacy, or more specifically, self-efficacy. This is your belief in your own ability to succeed in specific situations or accomplish a task. It's that inner voice that says, I've got the skills, the knowledge, and the grit to nail this. Think of it as your personal confidence booster. When we talk about teams, we also talk about collective efficacy. This is the shared belief among team members that together they can organize and execute the courses of action required to produce given levels of attainments. It's the "we got this" team feeling. If individual self-efficacy is like a solo rock star, collective efficacy is the entire band believing they can put on an epic show that will have the crowd roaring for more. This shared belief is a massive predictor of team performance.
Section 5. Resilience. The human bouncy castle. We fall, we laugh, we get up. Now let's talk about resilience, the R in our HERO acronym. Resilience is that amazing human capacity to bounce back from adversity, setbacks, and failures. It's not about avoiding stress or hardship, because let's face it, life and work are full of those. It's about how you respond when you get knocked down. Are you a fragile teacup that shatters at the first bump? Or are you more like a super bouncy ball? Maybe even one of those awesome bouncy castles from childhood? Resilience is the ability to dust yourself off, learn from the experience, and keep moving forward, perhaps even stronger than before. In a team context, resilience is pure gold. Teams inevitably face challenges, projects go off track, deadlines loom, clients change their minds, again, or muffin recipes take over the database. A resilient team doesn't crumble under pressure. They don't descend into a blame game or a pity party that lasts for weeks. Instead, they acknowledge the setback, analyze what went wrong without dwelling on it excessively, support each other, and adapt their strategies. They see failure not as a final verdict, but as valuable feedback, a rather blunt and sometimes painful form of feedback, but feedback nonetheless. Think about a team that lacks resilience. When a major project fails, they might become demoralized and disengaged.
Last but certainly not least in our hero quartet is optimism. This isn't about being a Pollyanna, blindly ignoring problems and pretending everything is sunshine and rainbows when it's clearly hailing sideways. True optimism in the PsyCap sense is about having a positive explanatory style. It's about attributing good events to internal, stable and global causes. We succeeded because we're skilled. We usually do well, and this will help us in other areas. And crucially, it's about seeing bad events as external, temporary and specific. This setback was due to an unusual circumstance. It won't last forever, and it doesn't mean everything else will fail. Optimism in a team is like having a built-in source of positive energy. An optimistic team approaches challenges with a hopeful outlook, believing that good things will happen and that they have the ability to influence outcomes positively. This doesn't mean they don't see risks or problems. They do, but they view these obstacles as surmountable, as temporary hurdles rather than insurmountable walls. This mindset encourages proactive problem solving and a willingness to persist even when things get tough. It's like wearing safety goggles, but instead of just protecting your eyes, they also tint the world with a hopeful, "We can figure this out" hue.
All right, we know what PsyCap is and why its components, hope, efficacy, resilience, and optimism, are the bee's knees for team success. But how do we actually build these magical qualities?
Let's start with hope and efficacy. These aren't just abstract concepts, they can be actively cultivated with some practical, everyday spells and potions. No Eye of Newt required, I promise. Mostly. For fostering hope, one of the most powerful tools is clear, compelling, and collaboratively set goals. When a team knows exactly what they're aiming for and believes it's achievable, hope blossoms. To boost hope, break down large, daunting goals into smaller, manageable steps or sub-goals. Think of it like climbing a ladder. Each rung is a small victory that makes the top seem closer. Celebrate these small wins. Don't wait until the entire mountain is conquered. Acknowledge progress along the way. This reinforces the way power aspect of hope, showing the team that they are indeed making headway. Encourage what-if scenario planning for potential obstacles. This isn't about dwelling on the negative, it's about proactively developing contingency plans, which strengthens the belief that the team can navigate challenges and still reach its destination.
We've got hope and efficacy simmering nicely. Now let's add resilience and optimism to our PsyCap potion to make it truly potent.
Building resilience in a team isn't about making them tougher through sheer willpower. It's about equipping them with strategies and fostering a supportive environment. One powerful way to do this is to normalize setbacks and reframe failures as learning opportunities. After a challenging project or a miss, conduct blameless postmortems. The focus should be on what can we learn from this, and how can we do better next time, not whose fault was it. This creates a culture where mistakes are seen as data points for growth. Encourage stress management techniques and work-life balance. Chronic stress erodes resilience. Simple things like encouraging regular breaks, promoting mindfulness practices, or even just ensuring workloads are manageable can make a huge difference. Foster strong social connections within the team. When team members feel supported by their colleagues, they are better able to cope with adversity.
We've journeyed through hope, efficacy, resilience, and optimism. We've learned to brew this potent PsyCap potion for our teams. But what's the real payoff? Is it just about more high fives? While high fives boost mood, the benefits go deeper. High PsyCap drives tangible, bottom-line results. Teams with high PsyCap are more productive. They set challenging goals and bounce back faster. They approach problems with a can-do attitude. This leads to better work and faster project completion. High PsyCap teams are more effective and efficient. Building PsyCap is an investment in your people. Foster hope, build efficacy, strengthen resilience, and cultivate optimism. The result? A happier, more successful, and innovative team.